So the first match was the Dynamite Diamond Ring match with MJF and Juice Robinson. And I thought it ironic that Juice got Juice in this match, but this should have been a jump start, and it should have been hot, and he should have been MJF kicking the shit out of the heel, which they did do. I'm not faulting that, but when they went to the floor, he throws him into the rail, he throws him over the table. Okay, that's good stuff too. They were on the floor for fucking ever. And one time in like a 3-minute period, MJF rolls in the ring to break the count, flips the referee off. He's trying, but God damn it. The whole match for the first, until they went to the break, pretty much was on the floor when the Guns distracted him and Juice took over. Finally, it got a little heat going, and they got back in the ring. But Juice, again, has way more oomph than Jay White. I don't know why that they somehow decided that Jay White should be the singles guy in this. And I think they're both better as a team, with Juice doing the talking. I'm not advocating that Juice should be the world champion either. But we know pretty much Jay White will be the most blasé, fucking boring world champion since Hangnail Page. And anyway, as I spoke about Jay White, saying, boy, Juice has more oomph than he does, Jay White came out and they went to the break. They were keeping this moving at the first half, even though they were out on the floor, boom, boom, boom. And I thought when they came back from the break, when Juice went to choke again, MJF with his own scarf, they'd done that a time or two, but MJF turned it around. That's great. That's a heel who switched babyface, giving a heel a taste of his own medicine. He needs to do a little bit more of that.
Yes.
And people like it, but the referee turned around and caught him and didn't call a disqualification. But if the heels are going to distract so the heel can, that's when the babyface turns it around, but does it behind the referee's back. You can't just have the referee turn around and catch him. That spoils the whole fucking deal. Anyway, then suddenly, after Juice gouged his eyes, MJF just made a comeback at 100 miles an hour. And again, I like both these guys work better than most everybody in AEW, so this was still a better match than anything else we're going to see tonight. But finally, it picked up there with MJF's comeback. He milked the kangaroo kick and hit it and got the big pop. But then Juice stopped him again. And MJF hit an eye poke, but Juice hit the left and a power bomb. And then they start slowing down. Again, that's a thing. Either they're trying to fill the time or they think they need to do these ups and downs. But on something like this, they had them going. They should have kept it going. But Juice foiled the heat seeker, but MJF did a dive on the Guns, and Juice stopped him again and got a 2 count. And it was slowing down a little there. Finally, the Guns drew the referee, and Juice went for the fake ring, and MJF went for the real ring. And MJF's the one that landed the punch and then nailed both of the Guns off the apron, hit the heat seeker on Juice, 1, 2, 3. So to that point, as a match and following along with what has been done before, the fake ring, the real ring, the matches for the Dynamite Diamond Ring, the only question I have in the logic of it is if the match is for the ring, why didn't the referee have the real ring? But nevertheless, as it was, that was fine. Right guy won. Match was pretty good. Juice got Juice, but it wasn't a ridiculous Moxley blood feast or whatever. It was natural. So far, not too bad. What grade would you give this segment before we descend into madness, Brian?
I don't know about grade, but I thought it was pretty good. MJF, I actually believed him when he was selling his face. I mean, it looked that bad when he hit the stairs. Juice Robinson has that quality that guys like Piper had. And then I'm not comparing him to Roddy Piper. I'm just saying everything he does in the match, you can't take your eyes off him. He's yelling. He's making movements. He's making noise. Not movements like you would call happy feet, but like the right movements.
Right. And a unique way of moving and his body language.
And you can't take your eyes off him. And I like how vocal he is during the match. You hear his voice screaming, and it works. He's the best one in Bullet Club Gold.
Selling like an auctioneer, as the boys used to say.
And I agree with you. He should be the main guy, not Jay White.
Well, but here we go. Because the end of the match is never the end of this thing. So now MJF has beaten Juice Robinson, and the Guns jump in and start kicking the shit out of MJF. And then suddenly, Taven and Bennett wheel Roddy to the ring. He's still in the wheelchair and the neck brace, and they wheel him to the ring, and then Taven and Bennett roll in and get in a four-way with the Guns. And apparently in this instance, are Taven and Bennett baby faces because they're making a save on the biggest babyface to company against two heels? I don't know, but nevertheless, the Guns kick shit out of Taven and Bennett and drop them both back to the floor. Whereupon, they just quit trying to come back in. You don't see them again for a while. Or Roddy. The Guns dump both them over the top, and Jay White comes in, and now all four of the heels just pick MJF up, and they're leisurely going to have their way with him to perform various acts of mayhem and penetration that are obviously not going to be pleasant. And then suddenly the Acclaimed music plays. And here comes Caster and Bowens and Billy Gunn. And those three baby faces hit the ring, and the four heels in the ring with the high ground, with the fucking title belt and the diamond ring, or the fake ring, all bail out before the Acclaimed and Billy can even touch him. Because I guess that's too close to being even odds. So then the heels leave and run to the entranceway while the Acclaimed check on MJF, and then Jay White gets the microphone. And Jay White and the microphone should never be used in the same sentence. We've come to find this out. Because I swear to God, he'd been doing commentary through the match. Color at the desk, but I could block that out. Because I never listened to the announcing here anyway. And mostly he was just screaming, "Come on, Juice," and all that stuff. But now he's cutting a promo that he's blown up like he's had a match. And it sounds like an indie guy playing fucking wrestler. It's whiny, and it's not convincing, and it's not verbiage and delivery and inflection that grabs you or captivates you. It's some fucking indie guy with a goddamn man bun cutting a promo. Am I overstating this?
I mean, you make me hate him more than I do every time you start going through this because I can't really debunk anything you're saying. Again, he's good in the right setting. It's just that setting is never in the ring in front of people with a live mic.
Or 20 minutes into a goddamn segment of him and his gangbang gang.
I don't think that's their name. I think they're the Bang Bang Gang.
Well, bang, bang, my baby shot me down. So he's got MJF's belt and he ain't getting it back.
When they go to WWE, will they become the banging enthusiasts?
No, because they're not allowed to trademark that because WWE already has bangers trademarked for the brutes.
Oh, that's right.
So they'll have to be the clangers.
Bangers versus clangers at Mania?
You got the hangers, the clangers, the bangers. It's going to be faction warfare. So now this is going to be hard enough to keep up with anyway. So let me try to do this. So White cuts the promo that he's got MJF's title belt and MJF ain't getting it back from him. And then Colton Gunn cuts a promo, tells MJF that they, the Guns, want a Ring of Honor tag team title match at Full Gear, which would necessitate them wrestling MJF at Full Gear, correct? Because he's the champion.
Yeah.
Since Adam Cole is out and he's going to defend him till Adam gets back. So they've challenged him to a tag team title match. Well, MJF tells the Ass Boys then to shut up, but agrees to the match. It'll be a handicap match for the tag team title at Full Gear. But then he also tells him that next week he's going to take Jay White up on the offer that he made a week or two ago for an 8-man tag match versus the 4 of them versus MJF and 3 partners, and he will get his belt back, he being MJF, from Jay White if his team, he being MJF, wins that match. But then, at that point, Roddy, who is apparently still at ringside with these other 2, 5 fucking minutes ago, they got knocked out of the ring. He screams, Max, pick us, you'll pick us. He being Roddy, wants MJF to pick the 3 of them, including the guy in the wheelchair, as his 3 partners, and MJF turns that down. And then Caster says, well, that means us, because they're still in the ring. And MJF tells Caster that he never liked him, even when they were training together. And in a million years, if he was on fire, and Caster and MJF was so flustered by this point, he couldn't form a cogent simile. And he said, if I was on fire and the only thing that would take it away was you, or something.
You can't even say it. I don't even know what he said. I can't even say it because it didn't make any
fucking sense. My boy, what have they done to my boy? So he said, fuck you anyway to Caster. I hate you. I despise you. And then Caster says, so you're saying there's a chance? And then Bowen starts yelling at Caster, no, again, they went from melodrama, they went from a war movie to a goddamn The Keystone Cops by Max Sennett in the same segment. And then...
this feels more like late period WCW than any other time in AEW history.
Oh, boy, howdy. Well, now the fucking heels on the ramp are gone. The Bang Clang gang, because they can't hang.
Well, no, they're not the Clangers. You said the other people. Well, no, you said they would be the Clangers.
No,
I take it
yeah,
back.
they'll be. Yeah, well, whoever they are. So Gin and Juice and the Guns are gone by now, because now Caster is interacting with MJF, and it says, well, basically, it'll be okay if you just do one thing. And he holds out his fingers to scissor with MJF. And MJF milks like it's the goddamn handshake between fucking Hogan and Savage or whatever. And then he reaches over and squeezes closed Caster's fingers and walks off. And so now, again, this started out with MJF beating the second in command of the Bangers and Clangers in order to get heat with Jay White for obviously the title match that I thought they were going to fucking have upcoming on Full Gear. But then it became a goddamn clusterfuck where now MJF is going to wrestle the Guns at Full Gear for the Ring of Honor Tag Team title. But they got an 8-man tag next week, but nobody knows who MJF's 3 partners are. But now they're reduced to doing comedy about fingering each other.